All right. There we go. Now we're ready to stop.
Yes. Call this meeting to order. Yes.
Hardline. Rotabeck,
Yes.
Newcastle,
Yes.
Nichols. Here. Judd. Here. Geisler. Here.
All right, if you would silence your phones, please, and we'll stand for a moment of silence for our veterans and service folks, and also the pledge of allegiance led by Mr. Rotabeck.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everyone this evening. Is there public comment? Mr. President.
Our Lions Club approved the overhead door, so I'm bringing that back to you to get the go ahead so that we can give Mr. Gabbard to order that door for the current barn. We still have to check. I met with Mr. Kassler on Saturday, pancake breakfast. We talked about the electrical requirements. He said he's going to work with his guys and make sure there's enough power going out there. So we need to put in another service out there, a bigger breaker box. There's only one. So, and we need more than just that one little switch to regulate the lights, because we need to have direct current, especially if we do get approval to do the addition. We'll need live power at both of those overhead doors, and then lights and any other, if they want to do any drop receptacles in the walls. So that's, David's going to take care of that. I've already met with 2 Langsbergites for concrete. He's also going to check on a building, what it would cost for us, and then roofing it as well. We're looking at 24 by 30. That current barn is somewhere between 28 and 30 feet wide. So it'll be the current width, and then we can extend that to the south 24 feet. I let David know that one small hickory about yay big around will need to be cut down and the stump removed to the south. And then you currently have a huge limb over the current barn that needs to be cut back and taken care of before it falls on the barn. And that's it right now. I don't have anything else to take back to the Lions Club, but
Mr. Kassler aware of that limb that's over the barn?
yes, he is. All of that was taken care of on Saturday. And he said, oh, he loves to cut down trees.
Yeah, it's his favorite pastime.
I said, as long as it doesn't hit the barn, that's fine. So, but I am concerned with that. I mean, it's a strong tree, but again, that limb that's going over the southeast corner of the barn is at least that big around. So
you want to proceed with getting the doors in first, and then you're going to kind of put together.
we
some kind of
definitely want to
plan.
get the overhead door in the current barn first, okay, and then address the electrical. And while we're doing, for one, it's taken forever to order doors. So I don't know how long this overhead door may take Mr. Gabbard to even get in. That's why I'm coming to you now, make sure you give us the blessing so I can order the door now. And the electrical wouldn't take long. If anything, we could drop a line currently in a receptacle box up in the ceiling to connect the overhead door to. So that's minor, but we would really like to. Do you have an electrician you use? I was thinking Lennon Electric. He's local. We try to give our business to the local people. So I wanted.
I've heard Lennon's pretty decent.
He
I've
is,
used them. It's good.
so That was another thing I wanted to ask you, and since we're rehashing the electrical is, if you have somebody, we'll gladly get a bid from them, but I was thinking Lennon right here. So, and if I can find, like I said, but we may even need to drop a larger power line, because I think the wiring that's going through the tube into that pole barn right now is only about a 10 gauge. And if we're gonna put that into a bigger electrical main breaker box, that probably needs to drop down to 4 to 6. So again, we need to know where it's coming from. That's what David is gonna do for us. We need to drop another line. I'll need to bring that to our board again, find out what the cost would be, and then we can bring that back to you as well.
Yeah, if you got 10 gauge wire, you only have 30 amp service in it.
I'm not, yeah, I got no clue. I'll take your word for
The one
it.
thing that you're asking for is the blessing to put the doors in. All the rest of it comes afterwards.
Correct.
And, the main thing is as you make through this, because we will have to put this in the agenda to get things down, because it wasn't on the agenda. And then we'll have to present it under others as far as what somebody wants to do or not do. But in the future, contact us ahead of time to get it on the agenda, so we know what we're gonna be
I
faced
was
with.
hoping David was gonna do that this morning.
David's not well.
Well,
Or
but we
he's
do
well,
our
but-
agenda a week before. I mean,
Okay.
we like to get stuff to our
Again.
council, give them
Yeah.
packets,
Yep.
get them information, because this is a lot of information and it's a lot more than just public comment. I mean,
It's a plan.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
So-
is. This is our plan for the Lions Club to help put you
Bring it up on.
out there.
Right,
So,
so,
uh,
and I'm not shutting you down.
Nope,
I'm
nope.
just saying that under the public comment, you're looking for the doors, we will cover that as number 9 item on the agenda to write it in under others. Or under the others, I'm sorry. And then we'll move forward with the rest of them.
and I'll gladly send you an email on all the other stuff in current situation. That's not a problem. But I'm only here to see if we can get a blessing to order the door. That's it.
As far as the electrical, if you want somebody to look at it, tell you how big a service you need, and I could probably help you with that.
I would greatly appreciate any help.
I guess we're gonna need some permits.
I can't pull permits.
I know, but
Somebody else
I'm
will
just
have-
saying
you have
that
to
there-
get
that there's a
license.
lot more.
Right, there's a lot of things involved, and that's why I say it's better off that we just deal with the door and then address whatever comes down the.
Be about a year before your door comes. My parents still waiting for theirs, so.
Well, Larry Cook hasn't gotten his new doors yet from the hail damage a year ago.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for a lot of
Hmm.
hearing.
So I totally understand. That's why I'm bringing it now. Sorry, I'm bringing. it
Oh,
to
you're
the
fine.
format. I will get it to you, Care. I have Gail's email address. I can put everything on there and she can distribute it to you guys for the next meeting or whatever, next go round or what.
You can just mail it to clerk@langsburg.us.
That saves all the-
Everything's on our website. If you
Okay.
wanna.
It saves all the transformation
Yes.
of everything.
Not a
So,
problem.
all right, anyone else under public comment? Anyone out on the computers?
I wanted to comment on the special assessment, but should I wait until you're talking about the? special
Yes, we
assessment?
will have that on the agenda. That's kind of what I was saying, we have so we can open it up, so. Oh, all right, excuse me. Approval of the minutes, approval of July 11th, 2022 city council minutes. Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? No discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by aye. Motion carried to approve. Treasurer's report is item number 2. Approval of treasurer's report. Motion and a second. Discussion. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by aye. Approval carried. All right, items of business.
Need a motion to open the public hearing?
Yes.
I make that motion.
Second.
2 seconds in the motion. The public hearing is open. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I wrote this down, so I can leave you a copy of it. But basically, I think the cause is worthy, but I would like to ask you to consider other possible sources of funding, if at all possible, before you raise taxes for any reason right now. The governor sends me messages, emails a couple times a week, I think, and one of the things that she's mentioned is that there's funding available for helping local communities with first responders. I have no idea about the details of that thing. I don't know if it's something we'd be eligible for or not, but I certainly think it's worth looking into. I also, my husband died last year, which pretty much cut my income in half, and he left me with swimming pool to take care of. So I'm looking for another house, and the cost of housing is just going up. And with it, the taxes are going up, which means anybody sells anything in Langsberg, your income is gonna go up because the taxes on that property are gonna go up. So I think there are some sources of income around, and I don't know, I'm not in local government or whatever, there may be other things. But if I'm hurting as one person household, I look at families of 4 or 5 people. And I know what I'm paying for gas and groceries and everything else. And my taxes for 2022 for the winter and the summer are over $5,100. And I think that's just an awful lot to pay. My single biggest expenses in life are insurance and taxes. And I really would love to find a way to bring my property taxes down, and I don't know how to do it every time we sell this house. And my taxes are lower. So wanted to point out too, we already have a couple of proposals on tomorrow's ballot for increases to property taxes. I'm probably going to be voting no on everything because I just. So. That's what I have to say.
Well, to start with your election tomorrow has nothing to do with taxes here.
No, it's interesting.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
Shiawassee County. is
Oh,
on
well,
there.
Shiawassee.
So do I need to stay to hear you discuss?
Right.
Well,
Right.
we
I
wanna
understand
interact.
that.
Whatever
Yeah,
you're-
it's a taxes here, we're not-
I'd say,
Are you aware that, I'm just asking, are you aware that the emergency services, without any of this funding, well, the state will probably shut them down
the state will shut them
Yeah.
down? How does that work? Why's the state?
because they don't meet qualifications of service?
Then
They
the
won't
state
have-
should cough up some frickin' money.
Well, yeah, well, they're broke too, you know? Same
No, they're
story.
not. No, they're not. Governor Whitmer is bragging weekly about how she's spending money right and left. If she's got money to spend, well, some of it could come for first responders in Langsberg, my opinion.
Well, if we don't pay the first responders a decent wage, we lose them.
We don't have them.
And
No, I
they will
understand. That's
go
what's
elsewhere.
happening.
And that's what's been going on. And right now, we have a little bit of extra money in the ambulance fund, so we did increase the wages. We do have the ambulance service and we are meeting state requirements, but that's only until, what, January probably?
Correct.
And then after January, we don't have the money if this isn't approved. And the other issue is we can not approve the millage. The 2 townships that are partnership with us, if they approve their millage, then we have to pay it regardless. And it's, if we're not approving the millage, we're paying it out of the general fund and it's gonna take it away from another
This
service.
may be a stupid question, but I've had to make adjustments in my budget. Is there anything, any place else you can cut that's less important to give money to something that is more important? And you don't have to answer that right now. I'm just asking if you guys can consider this stuff before this goes on.
The only other place we can cut is roads or parks. That's why
Honestly, I
we're-
think roads and parks are important, but they're less important than ambulance service.
Well, I agree. I don't know how many times you've used the ambulance, but I've used it probably about a dozen times in the last year or 2 years.
You're
And
in-
what we're faced with
I've never
is,
used it, but it's kind of important when you need
Right,
it.
well, it
Yeah.
is, because what we're gonna be faced with if they shut down is everybody else has gotta come and take care of us, not anything to do with us. We gotta have
So-
Perry come, Duran, whoever's on to that.
So you might be waiting an hour for an ambulance and you're having a heart attack or a stroke and,
And they probably charge you more for it too. because-
Oh, a lot.
well, and you may not make it because you waited so long.
No, I understand the
That's
importance
the
of it.
key.
I really do. I'm just saying, I ain't got no more money.
Right. I want to Right. bring up that approach. Isn't there options out there if your money really is so much.
I,
that
it's,
you can
I
look
think there are
into.
options out there, but when you're a single person household, I think their level to qualify is so low that, and frankly, I don't like, ever since I filled out the, FAFSA form to go to college, and listen to my parents complain about the level of detail of income they were asking about, I really don't like giving, and I, with the pandemic, between unemployment and a PPP loan, I am tired of filling out financial forms for the government. I feel like saying, if you're not the IRS, it's none of your business.
I just thought in case you hadn't heard it. they might
No,
be-
I appreciate you bringing that up, but I'm pretty sure, I don't know what the level is to qualify, but I'm pretty sure I would be above it.
And I just want to let you know that with this increase, basically, it goes from per household, pretty much from 25 cents a day to 50 cents a day. That's it. Less than $200 a year for the ambulance per
For that
household.
piece of it,
Correct.
yes. Yes, I'm aware of that, but
Everything.
my taxes are high and it's killing me.
Is there anyone else that has public comment on this or in the hearing? Council members, nothing? Entertain a motion to close the public hearing. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to
Okay.
close the public hearing. That part is.
Thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here. All those in favor of closing the public hearing signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by aye. Item number 4 is approval of resolution 2213 adopting ballot proposal language with special assessment for ambulance services. Motion to adopt.
Pretty much cut and dry.
You got a motion on it.
I make a motion.
One of the
Thank you.
section that you put there is,
Yeah,
So now you can,
there are.
as you said, Marcy, it's pretty cut and dried. And if no one has any questions or problems or whatever with this proposal, then we should do something about it. So we have a motion to open it up to approve the resolution 2213 adapting ballot proposal language for the special assessment for ambulance services. Any further discussion? Let's close.
Second.
motion to approve resolution 2213.
Second. Is it David and I?
Yeah, I know, just because.
Rotaback,
Yes.
Newcastle,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Judd. Yes. Geisler.
Yes.
Yes. Motion approved for resolution, authorized list of vendors to pay via ACH.
Make a motion.
We have a motion and a second to authorize the list of vendors to pay via ACH. Any discussion?
It's just been a while since we updated that list and we're doing a lot more of it. So we just figured maybe at the beginning of the fiscal year, we try to make sure.
These bills all still come through the check register.
Yep, you guys see everything. It's just that, we don't have to actually write a paper check to them, which technically is safer anyways, and it saves a lot of mailing and, the bank actually likes it when we do this and it saves a lot. So, and we're getting, so we can, with our software, we're getting to be able to do a lot more, of that kind of stuff.
Being that we don't have a local bank.
I just had a question what basic was. 2,500.
The what?
It just says basic.
Oh, so basic is, it's basic flex. So it's like it's our third party administrator for flex services.
Okay.
And the 2,500 is because like, basically we, people turn in receipts. And the max each employee can get is like 2,500. And some of us pay into it on our own, but we could, somebody could actually turn in $2,500 worth of receipts at one time. So that would be the most that we pay basic, you know, say they went to orthodontist and, you know, they turned their whole year's worth of receipts and, you know. So that's what basic is our third-party administrator for the flexible benefits.
Any other discussion? Okay.
No.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by aye. This is authorized. Number 6 on the agenda is Twilliger's bottom of the Bill Blues Festival street closure.
We'll make a motion.
I second that. I love it. Yes,
Surprised we
please.
Don't have anybody in here from Twilligers for this. Anybody online?
Do you want him to ask questions or?
Sometimes there's questions. This is kind of nice if they're here.
Yeah,
We haven't had any issues with them on the police side, so.
I think
Or
pretty much the
neighbor's
same
side.
thing they've done the last few years, right? Is that?
We usually just reach out to them and then, you know, if something changes, we let you know, but we kind of keep it in our little tickler file to make
I
sure.
love it. I don't want it to change.
Oh,
I go
you're
pay him
gonna
and-
be required to wear.
You just sit in your
earplugs.
front yard.
No, but I
right?
do. I go over there and pay Mike and then I go sit in my, because I'm, the first time he's like, are you really just gonna sit in your driveway? And I felt bad, so.
Does he bring you drinks? I know. he-
No, definitely. I would.
Not outside that.
Damn, we need
Yeah,
a
well,
fence that
I know
goes
it
down the
does,
front
yeah.
street.
So what you folks think?
Then you have a motion and a second already, right?
Yep. So we're just closing off Grand River right there in front of
Right at
the
Crum
bars. Yeah.
And also on the same, I would say the same as leaving the other building open and accessible. So,
We already have a motion, Kiesler.
We had a second.
Yeah, we have a second.
Cool, all right.
so all you gotta do is vote. So.
I just want to remind people, when, you know, when we do this, you know, as staff, we only close what people ask us to. And then sometimes people come in after you guys have made your decision and want to close something else, and we tell them no. Because they need to come here and ask you. We
That's
don't
fair.
have the authority to change that or make additional, because then the guy's got to move the barricades. And what if you guys didn't want that closed, or somebody didn't have the opportunity to complain? So just if somebody says something to you, we did have that happen this past weekend where somebody wanted us to make changes to the street closures, and we were like, nope.
I think that
That's
teaches them that next time they'll be.
Yeah.
And we do reach out, and sometimes we don't get any answers,
Well,
you
That's
know?
why I thought it would be nice. if
And I
somebody
agree with you,
here
it is nice if they
represented it,
come, you
and
know?
We could ask them.
You know,
the
but,
question.
so if there's any issues, this is what he
It is
did.
what it is.
He told us this is what he wanted, and so we put it in your packet. But I just want you to know that, you know, if you talk to a group that wishes to have something different, they need to let us know so we can get it before you.
Yeah, because, you know, the one thing for all of us to remind ourselves of is they're really not city functions, they're outside community and business functions, but we still need to approve them because we are doing the maintenance, the pickup, the DPW work and barricades and stuff. So the coordination needs to be there, but it's really not a city function, but we're doing it.
City streets
Right.
is the, you know.
And we have to leave the fire.
And it's a
around.
business
safety
within the
and
city
everything
that
is
draws
concerned.
people in, so it's a good idea.
So that's why you can't close the street without us approving it, because the bottom line is what if the route is for fire and we close the street?
Right.
You know,
I
then,
just wanted to give you guys that information, so if you do, you know, hear something, just, you know, that is the way that it needs to be, that they need to come back to the city council and ask for that, so.
I think that's fair too.
all those in favor of that signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by aye. All right. Approval to have the Blues Festival street closure. Item number 7 is authorized purchase of 2006 Chevy and backhoe tires.
I'll make a motion for that. Dave did get 3 quotes. Quality Tire was the best quote, and that's the purchase that is on here for, to be approved for him to make.
I'll make a second your motion. I guess Alan made the motion.
Yeah.
David made the second. Any discussion?
Backhoe tires. How long has it been since we replaced them?
I couldn't tell you.
I think Dave's on.
But we also, LSW Emergency Services had to update steer tires on some of their equipment, and they donated to the city for the 89 and 1989 and 1995 dump trucks tires that will be mounted. So we'd like to thank LSW for that emergency services. That saved the city a chunk of money. So everybody seems to be working together though to get all this done.
That's what we want, in my opinion. We did work together.
I mean, we looked up the last time those were replaced, but Dave might know. I think he's on if you want to ask him.
Dave,
Yeah,
when was the last time we changed the tires on the backhoe?
2 years ago, we changed all 4 of them, and the front tires usually we replace every 2 years, and the full sets every 4 years.
And we're just replacing the front tires this year, or all of them?
Correct. That's just the 2 front tires.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So it looks like what the cheapest one's all tech.
No, the cheapest was Quality Tire. Alltech has 3 separate bids and they're all combined.
That's what I was trying.
You have
Oh,
to
yeah,
add
yeah.
those 3
That's what I
together.
was like trying to figure out.
Quality
why-
is this on one sheet.
Yep.
It wasn't like apples to apples, so it's kind of.
Quality Tire was a lot better deal.
I was wondering why we had.
Alltech just gave 3 separate sheets for
Oh,
the,
Okay.
they broke it down into 3 separate things. So Quality Tire was the better bid and better choice.
That's what I first thought, and I was like, Dave's looking.
All right. Is there any other discussion on this?
That's what I was wondering.
Did you look for David?
Well, I see skid steer tires on one of the quotes, and we don't have a skid steer, so I'm kind of curious what those are for.
The skid steer tires and the loader tires are the same tire.
So the Alltech does say 4 new tires.
That's what kind of threw me off. I'm like, why do we have 3?
Quality Tire was the better bid.
I make a motion to approve, to authorize the purchase.
We already
think we
have.
already
made the Okay, that's-
motion and he
We're
seconded
We're
it,
just in
so that
discussion
we're-
right now. Okay,
So,
I'm like,
but if we have discussed it, we will take the vote.
Okay.
Please.
Rotoback,
Yes.
Newcastle,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Judge,
yes.
Geisler,
Yes.
Copeland.
Yes. Item number 8, car wash at 114 North Lane.
I was contacted by the owner of the car wash, Matt Griffin, last week. Packet stuff was already pretty much done and I didn't have a lot of information, so I told him I would bring it up. He is interested in selling the car wash and would like to give the city the first right to purchase it. I think he's looking back to when we were working with the Dollar General and maybe combining that site for development purposes. So I told him I would just see if there was any interest, and if there was, that, I mean, you guys can kick it to finance or planning or DDA, any, you know, whatever you want to do, and just, or if there's no interest, then we just tell them, you know, there's no interest, but if.
What's the,
I
what's the
feel like
price
there
on it?
would be an
Yeah, what's he
interest.
throwing around for price?
He did not, and I don't know that, you know, I mean, if we were to do something like that, we could go into closed session and talk about, you know, that, so that, you know, we don't throw our hand or whatever, but, I mean, I have no idea, he didn't really say a price, I think he just wanted to know if there was any interest.
Kick it back to planning and see if they have any interest. You know, before, I always thought that the other property would be nice to put a pavilion on, and our springtime fest or winter festivals or whatever, it's right there at the downtown where everything's happening, and like a pavilion would be a great idea right there, but
Our farmers
Farmers
market
market.
stuff.
but it
I'm
also,
all for farmer's market right there.
but it also takes another business off in tax rolls.
Mhm.
So
That's true.
that's something else to think about.
I think it's something we should think about.
I think that people planning or financial or kicking
Or if you
around
guys
with
want to create a,
pros and cons. We can get a
Well, throw it
committee.
to planning,
I
let
mean, I would
finance
love to
look
talk
at
about
it,
it at
maybe
planning.
Parks and Rec can look
Yeah.
at it.
I mean, I don't know where the right place to land is, but if,
Yeah.
you know, if somebody wants, if there is interest in discussing it, you know, maybe somebody should talk to Matt and find out what, you know, you want. I mean, I'd be glad to find out what, if he's got a price in mind or, you know, something like that.
Or the
but-
price are at, buy it, and that would be part of my retirement. That was his original plan for it, so something must have happened in between his retirement plan and stuff, I guess.
Well, with the
that'd
economy
be-
and the gas mileage driving back and forth from
What's his
Lansing.
last name?
Crippen.
Crippen.
I think that'd be a great
His
idea.
brother owns
Paul,
Crippen
if you
Mall.
were to
Is he
talk
related to
with him
Turk, or
find
he
out,
just
and
bought
then
it from
talk
Turk?
about planning and-
From Turk.
I think
Part of
Clark ought to
my-
look at it. I think planning and finance all ought to look at it. See if it fits into our plans and if we really want to move forward. But we're not gonna know until we know a price anyway.
I guess I wouldn't see why we wouldn't want to at least investigate.
Yeah, for
Right,
sure.
we need to, I would.
And
And that's all this really was just to kind of feel that, I mean, I had no idea, you know, I'm like, I told him, I said, I have no idea, other than, you know, that last, whatever that was, 5 years ago, whenever that was, you know. We
You don't
looked at
need
it.
authorization to look into it, do you?
No, I mean, but I think that, you know, if you guys are interested, I guess I kind of would like to know what path, I mean, I can talk to him and then what do you want me to bring back? Or what are you guys thinking you want to do as far as who else should talk about it and how does this group make a decision?
I kind of liked his idea, gather information.
Well, I think planning should look at it, see how it fits with our,
Master plan.
you know, our
I
master
can put it on
plan.
planning's
And
agenda.
And I think finance ought to look at it to see whether or not it's within our budget. And I also think that Parks and Rec ought to be involved if it's approved through or if planning wants to go forward with it. Because Parks and
With
Rec would
something in
also be
that
involved in it.
sense, yeah.
So,
Well, if you own it, it's a wide open door. What you can do and can't do. The
Yeah.
question is, like you say, is it feasible and is it cost to it?
you know, just so everybody knows, it is taking one more business out of the downtown area and taking tax dollars away from the DDA and whoever. So that's something to consider also.
Much said.
So, again, I think planning should get it first, and decide what to be done with it, then go to finance and see if, kind of exactly what you've talked about. The other bit of information I would like, is kind of what you're saying, how much taxes do they pay, how much taxes do you lose? Because that might be part of it.
Which I
might be
can
a
provide all
factor
of
in-
that easy enough.
Yeah, right.
But at that point, we might have to go into a closed session and discuss. all
Oh, yeah, I get it, I'm just saying, yeah.
It's not good on
Yeah, we
computer.
can't.
I'll be curious on price though, we want.
That's the only reason we can pull the tax.
Right.
I mean, I noticed what they sold.
Whether it's
for,
worth it or
like, they
not.
Sold it for a month later or whatever, like, or,
Sometimes the way the committees
yeah,
work,
definitely.
you know, the time, sometimes you have
That
to
was a
get
while
more than
ago.
one
Yeah.
working on it at the same time.
That's true.
So the recommendation is to have planning
And finance,
and finance.
and if they approve it, kick it over, or at least involve Parks and Rec.
Could we add in your gathering, I'm sure you probably would use, but timeframe he would like, is it urgent kind of thing? Is it something that's
I
done
can ask him
live, you know
about
what I'm
that.
saying, what he's
What's his
thinking?
point?
Yeah,
Okay. Everyone good with moving forward with it at this point, at this stage?
Discussing it, yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
So it shows something. How about authorization to pay the bills?
I'll make that motion.
I second that. Definitely need to pay the bills.
Discussion?
Nichols, right?
Yeah.
Rhoda,
Yes.
Newcastle,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Judd,
Yes.
Kiesler, yes, Colton.
Yes. Motion carried. Committee reports.
Oh, you're gonna wait until other to do.
Yeah. I wrote it in there, so I guess
Yeah.
I face it that
I'm like, I
way.
got it on here
I
somewhere.
Yeah, I
have it in
know.
mind too.
I don't think I'm gonna miss it tonight. That's stuck in my head.
Well, I missed the planning committee, so forgive me, I cannot. They-
Well, I don't know.
Minutes are in here.
I mean, I guess I know what they talked about before.
I think we have pretty short, quick
Yeah,
meeting.
I'm trying to remember.
I feel like.
I mean, I know it was the guy.
Yeah, we talked about training and, yeah, I mean, we were pretty quick.
Yeah,
Place down the street, they were
Expert one.
proceeding.
right, we
He's-
discussed that.
He hasn't been working out of it. It's been silent. So,
It was our understanding he was working with Pete, good, moving forward, which is really what we asked.
there's that.
Okay, well, that's the planning.
So the other thing, still talking about planning, the other thing we talked about was trying to make that committee more forward thinking. More planning, more
proactive instead of reactive.
proactive instead of reactive. So trying to get going now.
Okay. So how about the Langford Emergency Services?
I didn't make the meeting, so she was gonna take over on that.
Yep. So for the fire department in June, the ambulance had 11 runs. And the fire department had 52. For the year on the ambulance, it brought it to 63 runs. For the fire department, 315. I know as of today, we're at 364 runs for the fire department. So we're up there. In regards to the ambulance, as you know, in June, we had the big meeting. The board authorized increase of pay for EMTs and paramedics. EMTs at $16 an hour and paramedics at $19 an hour. And how that is working out for us is, we went on the premise that the townships in the city would approve that, but we had to get something started. In June, when we were still only paying our paramedics $13.50 an hour and our EMTs $11 an hour, out of the 30-day month of June, we only had 2 days in which we had 24-hour coverage. 10 days, we only had 12-hour coverage. So there was a lot of open spaces on our ambulance, and we were requiring a lot of our mutual aid agreements between Perry, Owasso, MMR, to come in and do that. First pay period, or starting July 1st, we increased those wages. And every day of the month for July, we had 24/7 coverage. August, we have 24/7 coverage for every day. I now have 8 paramedics that are willing to staff our ambulance, along with 7 EMTs so far. And I've had several people reach out and say they want to join the department. So it has turned our ambulance around. 360 degrees to where we need to be. So in August 22nd, we do have our state inspection with the state for our ambulance. Our ambulance renewal is at the end of September. So we're getting all our paperwork together and make sure all our supplies and everything have the correct date, because even distilled water has an expiration date on it for the ambulance. So even the bandages, the 3x5s have expiration dates that we have to follow. So
Can you just reboil it?
Water expires.
Maybe I
For
just
that
need
it
to come down,
does.
you guys need to fix me up with all them
Yeah.
expired Band-Aids.
So it's progressing well. The fire department side of it, as you know, we've been kind of busy with a few house fires. And so, again, even with our staff with 3 fire stations, we only have 22 certified firefighters.
And what would be normal?
When I started the department 20 years ago, we had like 45.
I was gonna say, we were like,
Double the amount.
Correct. And part of that though is the training. You had, it's 6 months long, which equates to two nights a week, plus 1 or 2 Saturdays a month for that 6-month period.
You gotta be dedicated.
And then you have to take the state test as well as the state practical test and pass those.
It takes a lot of time away from the video games. so
Yeah.
it's interesting.
So right now, we did hire 2 new individuals that joined the fire department. And we're looking at sending them to fire school. And once they go to fire school, then they'll also have to go to MFR for medical first responder school, because we're all MFRs as a basic for that. So I think things are progressing, and I hope that the citizens of Langsburg approve it, along with the 2 township boards. And again, like we stated at that meeting, is about $200 or less a year. And again, more people spend that on their garbage than making sure that their ambulance is available.
I think that really put it in perspective when you said that.
Unless they burn the trash, which they're not supposed to.
Well, it's very impressive from what I see now compared to June. You know,
Yeah.
When you're talking about really 4 days and not full days of coverage and. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, you're talking about 1 less K-cup a day.
Yeah, I had about 6 or 7 of them today.
Cut down 1 and you can afford the ambulance.
That's true.
I needed to.
Drink that distilled.
Okay, well, thank you, chief. How about the library? Yeah, I got it on
Yep,
loose
yep,
here,
yep,
so.
yep. We paid bills and we had story time at the Woodhull Township where they did sand projects. The big thing was that we discussed some color options for painting the front of the library. And also discussed music in the park, them coming and doing a story time there for the kids.
Has there been any more discussion on the building next door, or it just kind of went to the wayside?
So when I came, I said, we investigated it. We looked at the options with money and what money we had to work with. And at that point, the building prices were going at a crazy speed. At this, we stopped looking at that option.
Prices
Between
will
that,
come
yes.
down. You know, prices
Yeah.
of material will come down. I don't know
Yeah.
about the price of the building, but.
I do think there was a lot of things going on in that building, for sure.
Okay.
And it all factored in where I felt like we would have to start doing some fundraising or something, and I've got to have some solid thought that that would be done, I guess. So at this time, we are not looking for an option unless something drastically changes.
Thank you. Policeman.
Police, we've got 17 reports. patrol miles at 1,488 miles, 75 traffic stops, 46 traffic tickets issued, 30 of them are for speed. No surprise on that one. Got 9 seat belts, 4 expired registrations. Traffic warnings, 23 for speed, 5 for expired registrations, 1 for equipment defects. City ordinance violations, we got 6 abandoned vehicles, 1 grass, 1 noise. Yeah. Chief had a, maybe you can explain that with the child care center.
Yeah, I was contacted by the hometown child care center to just show the kids there kind of a show and tell. So we brought the police vehicle, fire truck, and the ambulance so that the kids could walk through them and see them. But so it only took about an hour, and I think the kids enjoyed it.
My son always loved that.
Well, I think it's important as well, so even the kids know what we have services here in the community and city as they grow up. I think it's real important.
See
Please.
somebody the first time when they're breastfeeding there as opposed to getting to know you. Putting on there.
Right.
Everything went well on the pancake breakfast, police presence was there and no problems, no issues. Same with the car show, any problems, any issues. So,
Did you want to comment anything about the breakfast? along with
The
that?
pancake breakfast is wonderful. I mean, they're gonna do some kind of wrap up tomorrow or Wednesday on the numbers and that sort of thing, but I thought the weather was absolutely perfect, which is not always given. I thought there was a lot of people there. Everybody seemed to be very happy. Car show looked great at both ends. That was really great. Friday night, we had music in the park and we had great turnout there. I thought it was a great weekend.
It was active, I know that.
that's great because we also bring a lot of people into the businesses and gives people a lot of things to do and communicate with each other. You meet your neighbors and all kinds of neat things happen.
Wonderful tradition.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad it was a very busy weekend as far as activity and everything went well. Congratulations to the police department for no car accidents.
Seaman County was here too. I was gonna check, see him out. Check Weston County. Sitting there for a minute, I'm like,
All right, DDA meeting. Basically, what the DDA did was approve or consider the sub-grant for Bonnie Lucille's hair studio with the MEDC grant awardees in Langsburg. It's kind of like a pay forward program. They do the work, or they have the work all done, and when it's completed, then the grant money is paid from the state, but the DDA front the money for them to work in stages that they can. So that's pretty much what they did. It is a grant. They're going to add 4 employees. We're going to have 2 rooms added so they can do facial work or whatever they do, and then I think it was massages. So,
Yeah, say the word esthetician.
yeah, well, I don't even know what esthetician is.
It's hard to, can you say it again?
I can't even spell it.
Are you picking on the clerk?
She looked right at me and said it.
I did, I was picking on myself.
Esthetician, or whatever it is.
I can't say it. so
See?
I give it a attempt.
And I had trouble saying Pacific in the
Who made up
schools.
that
I said
word?
Specific all the time.
I'm ready for a massage.
All right, DPW,
The only action item we discussed tonight, that was approval of the bid from Quality Tire for the 2006 Chevy and the backhoe. And then the thank you to LSW Emergency Services for their help with the steer tires for the 89 and 95 dump trucks. Also, the sound system upgrade has been awarded to Michigan Network Consultants, which we had approved at the prior meeting. And then they're continuing to work on the trees at 401 Grand River have been removed, and then stump work still has to be completed. And that's about it.
Thank you. Yes, the trees on Grand River are slowly being taken care of as they come up and fall, and whatever. David is on top of them.
And then they were working on colors too for the improvement in front of the library.
And also, under that, you have a letter that was mailed to you or sent, or it's in your packet. They didn't sign it, but we addressed this in planning to the point where there was an inspection of the area and so forth. We discussed more in detail. Planning.
I had a question. Where is this subdivision? Is that off West Street?
Yeah.
Okay,
The north,
okay.
all the way down.
Is that all city there or is it?
Josie.
So
Yeah, Josie Lane is in the city limits.
Because that one goes way back. One day I was looking through to see, I'm like, no, it's houses. And then is it the developer lives back behind everything? Is that's not city property, is it?
Yeah, it
Oh,
was-
wow, it goes that far back?
that was all gonna be developed at one point. And he bought it
Huh.
from the other guy that didn't make it.
That's the 425 agreement that we have with Salem Township.
Well, I did what Dan said, and I drove around, and I can't believe how much stuff I saw. Not just, I'm not referring to this particular thing, but
And
there are,
lots of things.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff in some people's yards.
don't look at mine.
That's what I just said. I told him earlier, please don't go up my driveway right now.
I try to
I mean, I
keep
just drive
everything in
up
the
Grand
garage.
River pretty much a lot of times, but I did what you did, and I.
No, I,
drove around, and
yeah, we
was
go around
like,
all the
oh,
time.
okay.
So this has been, as far as looked into by planning commission people. Matter of fact, I know I got at least a couple phone pictures of what was reported. So
Oh, I
we'll
did
deal with it
too.
as we'll get into.
Yeah, I got some pictures too.
But I wanted you to have an explanation of this letter, because as you notice, it is not signed.
Well, I don't put those on the agenda unless you guys want me to. I just put them in there for information purposes.
You have another letter for information. Two letters, actually.
Those actually go before planning commission for recommendation to go further, right? Yeah.
Actually, no permits were even pulled.
There was no permits, and actually it's not a legal right as far as the definition of the ordinance. Okay, Paula. We have others, and we also have the Lions overhead door to approve if you choose. If not, then you want to turn it down, that's up to you. If you want them to move forward, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion
Second.
Motion and second.
So what is the motion
Yes.
exactly?
to approve the overhead door
Purchase.
installation. I don't think you need permits for that.
Well, if there's no electrical.
There's electrical.
Oh, they're just gonna.
I
plug
don't
it.
know that you don't need permits. I don't know that you do, but I'm concerned about, I mean, what are we authorized? We are, I mean,
We're saying, yeah.
It's their
okay to
building,
buy the
right?
door, like, yeah,
so
don't
we
need
would
that.
just, the motion would be that they're authorized to
Install. the
install new
garage
doors following all required permits
Right.
that they need to contact Shiawassee County. I mean, there would be no zoning issues with that at all. That's nothing that, but I mean, I don't want to take the stance that I know whether or not they need an electrical. permit.
I think that's good to put it in the. in
They're,
the-
they're gonna run an extension cord from what he said.
Yeah,
earlier,
until they realize.
Until they
the
get
permit.
the new service put in and get.
Right, so I don't know that garage doors require a permit, but I
Are they
know
changing the
electrical
size?
changes do.
Are they changing the size of the doors?
I have no idea.
I
That's
think
what
they're
happened-
just doing a
But
door
that,
like
that
this
is
rather
my
than a
concern with
carriage
somebody
type
showing
door.
up for
Mhm.
public comment. Like, I mean, I put car wash on the agenda and I put minimal information in there. And, you guys are all like, well, what is, what is that? But somebody comes with public comment, which is clearly not public comment. That needs to be on the agenda. You guys need to have information. You would have answers to those
Oh, okay.
questions if I was allowed to make sure it was on the agenda. Do you see what I'm saying? So you guys should be provided with a packet of written materials that tell you what changes they want to make there. Because we're approving doors based on a verbal, that's all.
Okay,
That's
so-
fair.
I mean, I'm
So
just
we-
saying that I think that
Yeah.
it makes for a rough precedence if we are gonna approve things based like that, then it's like, why do I do all this?
So all permits.
Yeah.
and-
Well, we need to send the message.
So why don't we
You gotta
just
do it right.
send them a note saying, hey, bring us all your info. in
Which
a
I think he
format.
got that
He did
message
get
tonight,
that,
but
yeah.
I'm just trying to
Definitely.
reiterate that, I think it's important that originally, when he just brought the idea, then yeah, that was, but when he wanted to come back with it, he had a lot of information that I feel like, I mean, I'm sure you all had questions, so that's just, it should be an agenda item and we should have materials.
Well, it turned out to be doors, and then, when it was first presented, then you've got electrical adding on and so forth and so on. There could be plumbing coming there.
I don't
mean,
think
they got-
anybody's
I think
opposed.
I think
No.
down the road, I think
Yeah,
they'll
I-
come back,
Yeah.
but I'm saying, if we put it in there, they were approved putting garage doors in.
Yeah.
With saying that they have to get their permits and whatever necessary. I feel like if it was worded that way, that would at least get the ball rolling.
And I think that's fine. I just think that, it's important that we kind of don't get ourselves
Yes.
in a binder,
A
right?
horse before.
Right. The elec-
or cart
the
before
elec-
And I
the
don't think
Permits.
anybody's opposed to any of these changes and everybody's grateful that they're doing
Yeah, but
it
it's
and,
good to do it
that.
the right way.
But I feel like that we just want to be careful that, we don't approve something and then the building inspector comes to us and goes, hey, city. And they go, city said we could do it. Well,
Well,
all we're doing is
But
saying, we're giving them our blessing that
Right.
they can replace the doors.
And any permits or anything like that, they have to put it on that.
Who made that motion? Dave,
Or
you,
you can do it. I don't care.
Dave
both of
and
them
Gail
over here
both
ended up
did.
doing it as
Yeah,
well
we
as
both
Dave,
did.
so-
and Dana kind of seconded whoever.
all right, so, all right, I'll just word it that way, that we're, the city's,
So it's like he wanted, it almost sounded like he just wanted our blessing for garage doors, so get them ordered, because.
I think so. I
That's
mean,
all I
that's
got
what it
from
sounded
today.
yeah.
And I like the fact that they're trying to open the communication up, because they're doing a lot in that. regard, and I feel like.
They
Yeah, they
also, Cindy had made a comment that they had some extra money that they were looking to put in new project or something in one of the parks. So, if that goes back to Parks and Rec or the art committee, that there might potentially be some money that's available for them.
Well,
Well, I know that outing that they had, that they were considering doing some more park equipment. So I don't know how much, but
Which part?
perfect stuff.
well, they need to do just like everybody else does when they got plans of what they
Right.
want to do, what they want to do in the park. They need to come right here and talk to us about it. So that we know what's going on, and it also fits our master plan of what we want in a park.
Actually, the gentleman tonight is the only one that I've seen in quite a while from the,
He's the president now.
he's the president now.
Mr. Freidenberg?
Yeah.
He just took one.
Yeah, it used to be Larry Sparks when he was around it, he brought the information to us, and then after he passed, nobody came in. No, just recently.
They've had a bunch of ideas and they've spilled them out to me, but they haven't followed through on it. So that's why I say. They're gonna have to come and present this stuff to you to know what's going on. They can't just talk about it on the street and think that you're gonna come in here and take care of it for them, because it don't happen that way.
I almost think that they want a liaison or somebody from the city council to be on, on your group or whatever. So they can bring it back.
That's up to each individual.
Yeah.
Jeff,
One more
something to say.
So I'm actually spending 4 hours with Terry at their poker event Wednesday night. I'll do some coaching on what he should do to present.
Well, and I mean, I just feel like, if I had known that they wanted to,
Yeah,
they
no,
were
no,
coming
you're-
back.
I didn't
that-
know one was coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which, I mean, I just feel like I felt bad because this lady sitting there waiting for a public hearing and I just felt like it was nothing was particularly wrong. I'm just saying that,
There's a way to do it.
yeah, I just feel like
Well,
there
give
was,
us a little
you
more
know,
time to have questions in
Yeah,
our minds
I
to
get it,
bring in
and,
and ask.
Everything he wants to do from now on is gonna require a design, gonna require, that's gonna, and he should have.
yeah, and
those at
I mean, I
least
just,
Lined up.
I mean, I'm
before
just
we
kind
go
of
do
just
that.
observing, I feel like
Yeah.
we could have done that a little better, and I feel like we couldn't give it the attention it needed, and we have questions and that. And if I were you guys, I'd have questions before, you know, I made all those decisions.
Well, I feel like the only decision we're making is.
Yeah,
granting the
I agree. I
doors.
think
After
that-
that, they're gonna have to come with everything else, just like their plan was, and that's.
And I
you know,
think we
fine.
got that through. I
Yeah.
think he said
Yeah.
tonight he was gonna send us everything, so that way, and then that could go to planning commission or wherever it needs to go, and, you know, from there we can.
And see, really, from what I see, just this is my perspective, is by constructing and making sure we follow those type of patterns, you send a message to everybody, such as, I'll use the street closing that was asked on Thursday or Friday after it was not presented. No one ever came. No one presented the program. All we did is graciously granted the car show to close the street. But no one said a word to us about council about from that organization. So it's gotta be done by everybody because it messes everything up. Your DPW, you know, they accommodated this year, it was great, you know, they came in later, stayed later, rather than stay later and all day. So it's working out good, but I think that people need to present everything to us, so at least we know.
A little
what's going on.
communication really,
Yeah.
really works out great.
Well, I know when the closing came, I'd asked her if someone had given it, and she basically looked at what was before, because no one did say anything. So I reached out to them and said something, but.
And I had emailed that out, you know, and said, and then, oh yeah, whatever we had last year's fine, you know.
Yeah.
and- I mean, you can only do so
I
much,
know.
and it's like,
I agree.
and you know, we're not trying to do anything wrong, we're just trying to keep it moving.
Organized, moving, and constructive, going forward, not backwards. That's,
Well, if it's their event, they should have representation that comes in. It's their event, not the city's. Yeah.
I mean, it is nice when, you know, somebody from the LBCA or the car show comes, and that way, if there is something that comes up, that everybody does chit chat about it.
okay. So we still need to vote, don't we?
Yep.
Let's do this vote. We have no money involved, right? This is all Lions Club, so all those in favor of moving forward? For the giving Lions Club permission to move forward with their plans. Signify by saying yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I yes, anyone no. There we go. That's the one. Now, Paul, you can have the floor. I think that covers everything.
We have just been working crazy in here trying to collect taxes, sewer bills, and get ready for an election, so. Tomorrow's a big day.
I noticed you guys were working yesterday.
Well,
I mean, that's by law.
We're required by law to work 8 hours between Saturday and Sunday, the weekend before the election.
Oh,
And the only people that came in were our family to visit us.
That's kind
But,
of
you know,
par for the course.
we
Did they bring
mailed-
you lunch?
No, we mailed out 127 ballots. We have 101 back.
Hmm.
Hopefully we get some more, you know, tonight in the drop box and tomorrow. We'll probably maybe get another couple hundred voters tomorrow. I mean, I don't think anybody's expecting a big turnout for the primary. So, but I mean, we've been working in here, and, you know, I have been working Kim to train her on this stuff, and, you know, I worked with her all weekend so that we, you know, have somebody trained to know how to do it, so.
Are we seeing a lot more absentee voting?
We did in 2020, and even this number for a primary is, you know, it's our first primary, you know, really, since that, all that changed. In 2018, everything changed, so, and 2020 was crazy, so it's kind of hard to tell.
Mm.
But we are still seeing a lot of people that want that. But I expect we'll probably double that number in November. Because I think in 2020, we had over 300 at the general election, so. But, you know, meanwhile, we're trying to get everybody trained right now. Every 2 years, your election inspectors have to get trained and all that stuff. And then, what are you guys doing?
Doesn't fall back in the chair.
And,
That's
you know,
good
and now
job.
we're
I
starting
saw her.
November stuff. So, I mean, we have deadlines for November and so we're not even done with this yet and we're already starting November things, so. And we are gonna move the movie in the park, whenever they were scheduled. The Wednesday, the last one is Wednesday, the 17th, and the school starts the 18th, so the soccer kids were a little concerned that nobody would come, and they're high school students as well, so Dave and I talked about it. I think we're just gonna try to promote that back up to Tuesday, so at least, you know, I don't know.
My son is not ready.
I don't know if this is a stretch, Jen, I don't know if I fit into that, but we're gonna end up rescheduling that. And homecoming weekend, is there any thought of doing anything on the weekend instead of homecoming?
I don't know how many kids we'd be able to get to help
So you're
with it
thinking
on
Tuesday,
homecoming weekend,
maybe?
but, I mean, the soccer kids, I think they would have still done it Thursday night, but we just kind of all thought, you know, they're probably right. And I don't think when we set that schedule, I don't think anybody thought about school starting on that early. I mean, it just feels really
It's
early.
Just gets earlier
So-
every year.
I can tell you a lot of teachers are thinking for that probably, I
Yeah,
can imagine.
so, yeah, so we kind of think that we're just gonna, I mean, we could cancel it, but we could just back it up to Tuesday and see what happens. So I think that's the plan right now. So, that's all I got.
So you got?
That's all I got.
Oh, wow. Does anybody want to go home or got anything?
I
else?
make a motion. to adjourn.
I second that.
Yeah, do I need eyes on all that? This meeting's adjourned.
So I got a table. Don't get-
Next time you bring gum, Marcy, bring enough for all of them.